Hi, folks. Welcome. My name is Casey. I use the pronoun she, her. I'm the co-founder of Yoga Wild, and this is the Yoga Wild YouTube channel. A little trigger warning: if you have experienced trauma or are feeling raw from recent events, I invite you to maybe check out a different class in our Slow Flow playlist. However, if you are like me and woke up on May 26th to the news of George Floyd's murder and are feeling heavy and disgusted and frustrated and a little lost on where to turn, I invite you to stay with this practice. If you are watching the replay or have not seen the news, George Floyd on May 25th was murdered by police officers in Minneapolis. And George Floyd was a Black man murdered in broad daylight in front of a group of people. And for 7 minutes, he was held on the street at the throat by their knees. And several times he said, "I can't breathe." And that reminded me of a passage from a fantastic book I highly recommend, Skill in Action by Michelle Cassandra Johnson. And in it, she wrote, "The experience of being a Black person in a whitewashed America takes away my breath. The experience of seeing people who look just like me being murdered at the hands of police and white supremacy takes away my breath. Liberation and freedom, our natural state according to the yogic path, are about our capacity to breathe freely. We are dying. We need to change the way that we are living." And it's really impactful because according to a Yoga Journal study in 2012, the demographics of yoga practitioners, 4/5 of yoga practitioners in America are white. So it is important to hear and talk about this in our yoga classes and our yoga spaces, especially when majority of practitioners, or majority of you watching, according to statistics, are white, and white supremacy and systemic racism are killing people. And George Floyd's life was taken in a senseless act of violence, and he's not the only one. So I invite you to stay in this class for the next 50-ish minutes and sit in whatever discomfort or frustration or anger or fear or resentment or defensiveness or whatever all of this brings up for you, and to move and breathe, because you can breathe. We'll start in a comfortable seat. So maybe you're cross-legged, maybe you're on a block. Feel rooted in your sit bones. Feel long and tall in your spine. And close your eyes or just soften your gaze down. I invite you even to maybe bring your hands to your belly, or one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart, and just notice your breath. For those of you that may have seen the video, if you're like me, I don't know how to watch that without feeling like I can't breathe. Also recognize how maybe even just hearing George Floyd's story makes you feel in your body. What is your breath like right now? Our yoga practice is more than postures. It's more than getting fit or getting strong or whatever. It reminds us that we are connected. One person, one group, one community's pain is not separate from us. We feel it in our bodies. Although if it's uncomfortable, we might choose to close our eyes or turn away or try to ignore it. I'm asking something really challenging of you right now. I'm asking you to open your eyes, to be aware, and to be in it. We'll start to add just a little movement to our head and neck, so you can let your chin come down to your chest. Maybe roll your right ear to your right shoulder. Then you can turn your chin up and around. And as you continue with slow circles this direction, come back to your breath. Notice any restriction or maybe crunchy places that you need to just linger and move in. And the next time your chin comes down to your chest, pause there and start to take circles the other direction. Just seeing what it feels like to be in your body in such a heavy time, a heavy day, and heavy news. Finish the circle that you're on. Let your chin come down to your chest. And then slowly pick up your head. And you can keep your eyes closed or your soft gaze. We'll start to bring some movement into our shoulders, just picking them up, back, and down. And you could keep your movement small, maybe a little contained. You could start to incorporate your elbows, start to move around a little bit. In today's class, we'll move slowly with our breath. It is a slow flow. I did throw out the class I had planned for today, so this is a little impromptu. And then settle in your shoulders. We'll start to move in our hips a little bit. So I like to start off with a block, but it feels better for me to be rooted. And just shift your chest forward, over to your right, back, and around. And maybe you're moving extra slow. Because this is a slow flow, I'm inviting you to go just a little bit slower than what maybe feels natural or normal or usual. Next time you send your heart forward, pause there. We'll start to go the other direction. And in the description box below, I'll have links to find Michelle Johnson and her book. Another link you'll find is for Nicole Cordoza, who is the founder of Reclamation Ventures. Go ahead and lift your chest and start to find a little cow-cat spine. So inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, draw it in and back. And Nicole made a post just the other day, and it said, "I am not well if we are not well." So our health, our well-being, our growth, our ability to live our most loving lives are directly linked to the pain and suffering of others. I am not well if we are not well. And then come back to your tall spine. We'll start to move our arms with our breath a little bit, our slow breath. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And continue like that. Inhale, stretch out and up. Exhale. And take a few more rounds on your own. Maybe your pace isn't exactly like mine, and that's okay. Last time like this. The next time you reach up, inhale. Exhale, lean to your right. So you can bring your right hand outside your leg or maybe to a block. Not a big stretch over with your left hand. Palm faces down, point your thumb behind you. Stay rooted in your sit bones. You can keep your gaze down, maybe even crawl your right hand further out. And see what it feels like to breathe here. As we make shapes in our body throughout class, as we move through asanas and postures, especially when you start to feel constricted in some places, just come back to your breath. And then inhale, slowly lift up. Exhale, lean over to your left. In Nicole's post, she went on to share that my breath is connected to your breath, that we are connected. So when there are people or communities suffering that feel like they can't breathe, that impacts our breath. I am not well if we are not well. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more full breath like this. And then make your way to tabletop, to hands and knees. I invite you to even let your transitions be slow. Don't feel rushed getting into poses or the next thing. Kind of let the residual of the last actions or movements or breathing kind of stay with you. When you make your way to your hands and knees, just start to rock forward and back. And you can choose, I like to keep my toes tucked under some practices and then really add a stretch to the soles of my feet. And then maybe you're circling your shoulders one direction clockwise and then counterclockwise. And start to settle into stillness. So stack your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly, lift the crown of your head and your tailbone up. Exhale, cat pose. Press into your palms, tuck your chin to your chest, and round your upper back. Inhale, tabletop. Find your long spine. Exhale, child's pose, Svanasana. Sink your hips back. And we'll take a few breaths in our first child's pose. So if you'd like to bring your knees a little wider, and especially with the heaviness of the day, of the topic of our practice, maybe just rest your forehead on your hands or a pillow. Your poses don't have to look exactly the same day to day. They don't always have to be like the strongest version, the deepest version. What does it feel like to breathe here? Then we'll flow through those poses, slow breath to slow movement. A couple more rounds. Inhale, cow pose. Lift to your hands and knees, arch your back. Exhale, cat pose. Press into your palms, no hurry, moving through all the pieces. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Just pausing one breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, cow pose. Lift the crown of your head and your tailbone. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. One breath. From child's pose, tuck your toes under, and we'll shift to downward facing dog, Ardha Swanasana. So press into your palms. Find a little scoop as you lift your tailbone up. Now really give yourself time to settle in. Downward facing dog. Your feet could come wider to the edges of your mat or add a bend to your knees, especially if your body is feeling really tight today. Or maybe just try on a wider stance. See what it feels like. And then take a little bit of time in stillness. So in one of our earlier slow flow classes, we talked about how when we move slowly, all of a sudden we feel all of the feels. When we're used to going and doing and being so fast, it's easy to ignore temporarily what's happening. But our body always knows how we feel. We can't hide from it for long. So as we move through class today, I invite you to just pay attention. It doesn't always have to be good feelings, but just be present with how you feel. And gaze to your hands and slowly walk your feet up. We'll meet ragdoll. As you come to your forward fold, maybe box out your hands. Maybe add a little extra bend to your knees, slowly moving. A little pulse might feel nice.
Our yoga practice, our physical yoga practice, can really help us get in tune with how we hold our feelings, how we hold grief, anger, frustration. Lower your fingertips to your mat, add a bend to your knees, and slowly roll up to stand. Keep your gaze down, head is heavy. Eventually, arrive standing, roll out your shoulders. Mountain pose Tadasana. So you could choose feet closer together, or I like a wider base. That might feel more supportive for you today. Face your palms forward, draw your shoulder blades together. So notice, especially if you're kind of rounding in your heart space, so try to stay open as can be, and then long in your neck. From here, press your palms together and set an intention for your practice. It can be a mantra, it can be a prayer, it can be whatever resonates with you. Maybe align with, I am not well if we are not well. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it out. Good. One more big breath like that. And often in our slow flow and vinyasa, I cue Ujjayi pranayama, where you seal your lips and you inhale and exhale through your nose. If that feels too constrictive on days that you're feeling heavy or overwhelmed with bigger emotions, then I invite you just keep your lips parted and breathe through your mouth. Find what is most comfortable for you to continue to breathe. Inhale, reach your hands high. Ardha Chandrasana. Root down in your feet, maybe even gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, Utkatasana. Hands could come wide, really stretch and open your chest, or just pass through center. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Utkatasana, hands to shins or thighs, long in your spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Plant your palms, step your feet back. Inhale, shift forward to high plank, just passing through. And for today, I'll invite us all to exhale, lower your knees, and we'll try on knees, chest, chin. So bend your elbows straight back. Your elbows come by your sides, by your ribs. Arch your back and try to land your chest between your thumbs and let your chin rest on your mat. And then inhale, slither up to cobra. As you point your feet, hug your elbows in. Exhale, transition back, downward facing dog. You could take a reverse chaturanga with or without your knees, or just pass through tabletop. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your hands high. Stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. We'll take that Surya Namaskar A variation, 2 more rounds, slow breath to slow movement. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, maybe high cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your knees, step up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, Ardha Chandrasana, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold, Utkatasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Utkatasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift cobra, high cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. Just take a little time in stillness, see what it feels like to move your body. And our intention, what we talk about, what we bring to our mat can really impact how we feel, how we breathe. Notice what your practice feels like tonight or today. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your hands high, stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment, come back to your intention. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, lift your chest, settle in. So we're going to take a little time, chair pose, to start to fire up the legs. And we'll be here for a little bit, so it might get uncomfortable. Your legs might shake. Know that you can always straighten and get back in any time. Maybe start to reach your fingertips up. So our physical yoga practice asks us to do the work. And to do that, we need tapas. It's our heat, our intense effort. But that's not just work on our mat too. It's our tapas, our drive, our passion off the mat. That's where we need to do the work as well. So take a little time here and challenge your discomfort, maybe sinking in, maybe taking a different variation. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. So take a big, long stride and connect your left toes to the back of your mat. Your heel stays lifted. Know that you could lower your knee down. Otherwise, we're going to find a little of that cow-cat spine, just like we did earlier, but in our lunge. So inhale, cow spine. Maybe soften your back knee. Lift your chest. It could ground down or hover away. Exhale, cat spine. So find your pyramid variation as you tuck your chin in. Really press in with your right heel and your left big toe. And listen, if you live in a bendy body, maybe flexing your right toes back will help you find some more sensation. That's not me. And you could always keep a bend in your front knee. Inhale, cow spine. Lift your chest. Exhale, cat spine. Press into your palms, round. A few more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Maybe even hover your hands away, lift your chest. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. This time, inhale, high lunge. Bend your front knee. Lift your chest. Take a little bit of time to settle in. You can reach your fingertips high. So care about your foundation first. Your feet aren't on a balance beam. You can take up a little space. And if you're feeling wobbly today, feel free to go wider in your stance, or you can ground your back knee down at any time. From here, draw your right hip back. Your right knee tracks in line with your toes, and press in with your left big toe. Pay attention to your breath. If you start holding your breath, or it starts to feel really constricted, maybe find a different layer. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands to your mat. Step your back foot forward, and maybe that's one step or two or three. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Big, long stride. Land your right toes. And take a little time here. So, again, it might feel nice to kind of ground your back knee. We're going to be here for about 5 rounds of breath, so you have time to warm up on this side. Inhale, find your cow spine. Really lift the crown of your head. Draw your left hip back. Exhale, cat spine. And as you round, draw your left hip back. Press in with your right big toe. Maybe a little bend in your knee. And I like blocks to start to bring the ground up a little higher. So maybe you're using props too, or you find more sensation by flexing your foot. Inhale, cow spine. Sink into your hips. Exhale, cat spine. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale, cow spine. Exhale, cat spine. 2 more rounds. Maybe even see what it's like to kind of hover or lift your chest. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, high lunge. Bend your front knee. Lift your chest. Settle in. So you can kind of pulse or move really high on your back heel. Draw your left hip back. Hug your navel up and in so your low back is long. Any variation. Now find a drishti or gazing point, something to focus on. Come back to your breath. As your legs get shaky, as this pose gets challenging, come back to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your hands to your mat. Step your back foot in, however you get, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, prayer twist to your right. So I'll present some options. You could open arm twist, right hand back, left hand forward, or maybe hands at your heart. Bring your left tricep to your right thigh. We're not going to be here long. We are going to do both sides, but we're not going to be on this side long. So I invite you to just kind of sink in, heavy in your heels. Press down with your right palm, open your chest. Try to hold your legs. Inhale, chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. So hug your navel in. Try to avoid kind of collapsing. And maybe your right elbow is on your right thigh or between your legs or all the way across. So you can find the twist that serves you. But I invite you to sink in. Sit with the challenge. Sit with the discomfort. Be in this feeling. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. Just one round of what we did the first wave. Inhale, cow spine. Exhale, cat spine. Inhale, high lunge. Lift your chest. Exhale, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So spiral your back foot flat and really press through the outer edge of your left foot. Bend into your right knee, and you can take a little time to pulse and sink in. Arms can come wide like a T. Really press through the outer edge of your left foot. Sink in with your right knee. And then settle in. We'll be here for about 5 to 7 more breaths. And there's a different challenge when we have to sit with discomfort and hold and breathe. Know that this entire time, you're in charge to discern whether this is just mental or physically challenging, or if there's potential harm or danger. And if it's ever the latter, straighten your leg, make any adjustments you need. Listen to your body. Listen to your breath. Connect to your knowing as you sink in. Inhale, reverse warrior. Reach your right hand up. Big stretch through your right side. Exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm to right thigh. We're going to pulse that just a couple more rounds with breath. Slow movement. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Maybe right hand comes lower or touches the ground. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two, just a transition. Stay in it. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands down. Pick up your back heel, step up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Find your lunge, Anjaneyasana. Inhale, cow spine. Exhale, cat spine.
Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Settle in, Virabhadrasana 2 on this side. So the second side can be a little daunting, especially if the first side was challenging or work for you. So now this is a different kind of effort. We know it's coming. There's going to be some long holds, maybe some shake in your legs. If you are recovering from injury, if you're new to this practice, if it's been a while since you've practiced, take breaks as you need. If it's just a little shake in your legs or a little mental challenge, I invite you to sit in it, to stay with the feelings, even if they're not positive or good. Recruit your right quad. Back leg is active. Sink into your front knee. Just a couple more breaths here. Dancing warrior. Inhale, reverse. Lift your left hand up. Your palm faces behind you, and then soften your shoulder. Maybe lean back. Exhale, extended side angle. So many variations, maybe even using a block. Long through your sides. Inhale, reverse. Stretch your left side body. Exhale, extended side angle. Last one like that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to your mat. Take your big step up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, prayer twist. This time, gaze down to your right big toe. Lift your left heel. We're going to take a slow transition to our reverse crescent lunge. So hug your left heel into your left glute first, and then slowly start to send your left toes back. As you settle into your lunge, just like we had done earlier, but now we've added the twist. Know that you could lower your left knee down, palms together, open your chest. This is the only new thing we're adding on this wave. Stay in it, and then we're just going to slow flow through the rest. We're here for 3. Straight to high lunge. You're going to lift your chest in 2. 1. Inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. So just setting it up to transition. Maybe you're in an open arm twist instead of the prayer twist. That's a great place to be too. From here, gaze down to your left big toe. Pick up your right heel. Feel that hamstring curl first. So you're really working the back of your leg, and then slowly transition back. You can stay lifted when you land, or right tricep to left thigh, or ground your right knee. We're here for a few breaths. Find the variation that serves you. Sink into your front knee. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Find a little lift away from your front thigh. We're here for 3. High lunge, lift your chest in 2. 1, lift yourself up. Reach your fingertips high. Inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Listen, this time, inhale, reach your hands high, stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a few moments here. Settle in. It's challenging to move slow. It's challenging to feel everything. Take a little time in gratitude for not shying away. You're here, you're doing the work. We'll move into a little balancing, starting with tree pose. So balance on your right leg. And I like to step off my mat. Our mats are pretty cushy in the studio, so if you're at home on carpet or a padded surface, maybe just offer a little kindness as you try to balance on your right leg. Open your left knee. And you can place your left foot anywhere on the inseam of your right leg, but take a moment for this posture to come back to your breath. Right now we have a privilege, many of us, that we are in control of our breath. And you can control your breath. You can control your heart rate. Maybe hands come to heart center. Engage your left glute. Maybe extend up. Whatever variation with your arms, just feel rooted. And if you wobble or fall out, that's okay. Come back in. Maybe use a wall or chair for support. But feel your breath. Feel your heart rate slowing down. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your left foot down. We'll take that on the other side. Balance on your left leg. Bend your right knee open and find any placement on the inseam of your left leg. So I kind of consider balancing poses like a great equalizer, whether this is your first class or 100th or 1000th. Like day to day, your balance will be impacted and feel different, especially if you're coping with like big emotions, grief, anger, frustration, fear. Can you offer a little kindness? Your balance is off. Can you make adjustments that you need to be in this posture today? Having a regular practice can really help us stay connected to what we're feeling. Our body knows, our breath knows. Usually our minds take a while to catch on. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower your right leg down. We'll take that balance into tree pose, into a slow transition into half moon, and we'll come back out. So especially if in those first couple of variations of tree you were feeling a little less stable, then find some support with a wall or a chair. And starting at the top of your mat, balance on your right leg, bend your left knee and come into tree pose. So in tree pose, you're already starting to work into external rotation in your left hip, and that's what we need for half moon Ardha Chandrasana B. And having a block nearby at the top of your mat can be really helpful too. From here, start to open your hips, open your chest. Slowly send your left heel behind you as you bring your right side body parallel to your mat, and your right fingertips can hover away, or maybe they connect or ground down. Try to get really active in your left leg, so more effort there will help stabilize you. You can keep your left hand on your hip or extend your left fingertips up toward the ceiling. But keep the opening in your chest, long in your spine and your torso. Are you breathing? We're here for 3. Slow transition back up into tree pose in 2. 1. Find a lift up in your chest. Keep your left knee open toward the left side of your space and try to maybe connect without your hands. Wherever your foot lands, just let it be. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Lower your left foot down. Okay, that side is done. Side 2 is a whole different place to be, so let that go. Balance on your left foot for Vikshasana tree pose. Take a moment here, feel rooted. We've already kind of built a little muscle memory. And then as you're ready, start to make your transition, Ardha Chandrasana B, half moon. Really active in your right glute as you open your right knee. Avoid locking out your standing leg, so a little bend there, a little buoyancy, and then really start to engage your right lifted leg. Open your hips, open your chest. Your left fingertips could come to a block. Just stack your block under your shoulder, not close to your toes, that encourages kind of a rounding. So wanting to stay long through your sides, press in through your left heel. Your gaze can be down or for more challenge, out to the side, or maybe even up towards your fingertips, your right hand. We're here for 3. Slowly lift back up, tree pose in 2. 1, lift your chest. Open your right knee or keep it open. And try to, without your hands, land in tree. Just be wherever you land. Inhale. Exhale, lower your right foot down. Bring your hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take a moment to connect to your body, your breath, how you're feeling right now. Maybe frustrated if that transition didn't go as planned. Maybe pride or gratitude or just presence. Inhale, reach your hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift. Any variation, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right heel high. Exhale, half pigeon. Bring your right knee wide toward the edge of your mat. Lower your left knee down. Maybe even crawl your left knee back. And then take a little time. We'll settle in half pigeon. If you aren't really familiar with this pose, I encourage you to just enter in slowly instead of autopilot or maybe just going straight to where you always go. Like, what variation would serve you today? Maybe having some support under your right hip if it feels a little strained. Maybe using a pillow under your chest or forehead and you can lower down. And if this sleeping variation just doesn't feel right in your joints, then trust your knowing. And you could always come to your back. Supine half pigeon, so you create a figure 4 shape, right ankle and left thigh. So in this variation, you get the exact same stretch without it being weight bearing. As you settle in, about 5 more breaths here. Notice where you feel resistance as we start to slow down into more restorative poses or longer holds. Where you feel resistance in your body, if you do, in thoughts and emotions. And if you do feel resistance, like, that's okay. It's not bad. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Maybe if you feel up for it, just kind of investigate a little. Slowly lift your chest. If you're seated, go ahead and sit up, or if you were on your back, go ahead and sit up. Roll to the outer part of your right hip, sweep your left leg around. And however you get there, we'll take a variation of forehead to knee pose. So your right foot is on the inseam of your left thigh, left leg is extended long. And as you turn your chest towards your left toes, there's a little twist here. Inhale. Exhale, fold. And you can kind of play around, maybe just folding forward a little bit feels like a nice stretch under the back of your left leg. Maybe you're even feeling that in your outer hip. If you're just kind of done with being active, you could always round and maybe bring your forehead to your knee or to a block. And just let this feel a little bit more restorative.
Slowly start to lift your chest. Cross your left shin in front of your right, Sukhasana. And we're going to add a forward fold here. So if you'd like to sit on a blanket, you could even just fold your mat up a little bit. Having some height can help keep the low back long. So when we lean forward, we're not like overstretching the lumbar spine. So having height can work. If fire log pose is in your practice, you could always stack your ankle over knee. Maybe even use a little block for support, but please don't strain to get into that pose. Cross-legged works well too. As you're ready and you start to add a lean forward, maybe forearms come to blocks or your mat. So when feeling heavy feelings like potentially grief, forward folds can be a way of really like leaning in to that sensation. So allowing whatever comes up to come up. These are more introspective poses, forward folds. And then we'll make our way out similar to how we got in. So sweep your left leg out and around. And know that we're going to end up in down dog. So if this doesn't feel right in your hips, that's fine. Kind of coming back to that half pigeon start. Tuck your left toes under. Inhale, reach your right heel high. You could always bend your knee, open your hip. Point your right knee up toward the ceiling. Add some circles. And when you're ready, we'll meet downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, half pigeon. Potterhead. So again, taking time to settle in on this side. I often like to keep my back toes tucked under. That helps me keep my hips kind of square. But if you point your foot, that's fine too. And as you start to settle in, our yoga practice can truly ask a lot of us. When you create a regular practice and you show up on your mat, you're constantly checking in, investigating, paying attention, honoring your needs, answering your needs. But when you create that muscle memory of sorts on your mat, then we carry that with us in how we engage with others, how we pay attention to others, even people that may not look like us or act like us or think like us. It encourages us to see that we are all connected. And then slowly lift your chest. If you were supine on this side, then we'll meet as you sweep your right foot around, bring your left foot on the inseam. Root down in your sit bones. Again, maybe you're sitting on a blanket or folded mat. And then start to add your fold as you're ready. If you're keeping it active, draw your right hip back. Flex your toes up toward the ceiling. And start to lean your belly toward your front thigh. Hands can kind of draw back. Maybe you're using blocks for support. Or just enjoy a little rounding in your spine. And then slowly start to lift your chest. Cross your right shin in front of your left. Sukhasana, your comfortable seat, or maybe fire log on this side. Stack your ankle and knee. And if you have a space like I do in my body, that's fine. But having a little support, a pillow or a block can be nice. And then you can just start to add your lean forward, staying long in your low back as you shift. So
it doesn't take much for me to really start to feel sensation. So you have to discern whether like what point is sensation where you can stay and breathe, and that's right for you. You could always be in a posture for a little bit and kind of change your mind, take a different layer. A few more breaths here. Try to be present with each inhale and exhale, and especially if you're participating in the live class, recognize that you're breathing with others in this time of stay at home during COVID-19. It can be powerful to know that there's a collective breath. Lift your chest. Sweep your right foot out and around. We're going to make our way back to downward dog again. So if you wanted to kind of pass through the way you went in, or whatever transition you take, you could even kind of open up your left hip. Inhale. Exhale, lower to your knees. And slowly start to transition. Make your way to your back. We'll prepare for Shavasana, final resting pose. If there's a little something that your body would like before we get there, a twist or legs up the wall, feel free. You can always hit pause. And I'll hold space for a couple minutes in Shavasana. So really allow yourself to get comfortable in your space. You could always turn off lights or add a blanket. But you've made it this far, and I invite you to just stay in it. There's so much impact from our Shavasana. You've done the work. Take this last little bit of time to kind of reap the benefits. Maybe walk your shoulder blades together. Maybe your knees are bent like me or your legs are extended. You can just let your toes spill open. You could spill your hands out wide, or maybe stay connected to your body. Anytime you get drawn away from this moment or distracted, come back to your breath. Be aware as you inhale. Be aware as you exhale. Feel the power, the presence, the beauty of each inhale and exhale. Be aware of your inhale. Be aware of your exhale. Slowly, be aware of your body. You can circle wrists and ankles. And take your time as you transition back to your comfortable seat. Maybe a full body stretch, maybe linger for a little bit in a fetal position. However you arrive, I invite you to keep your eyes closed and your gaze soft and down. I am not well if we are not well. Bring your hands together at heart center. Remember, it's the choices you make that define who you are far more than your abilities. Thank you for choosing to practice your yoga. Lift your thumbs to your third eye, the center of your forehead. We will close with one final connected, collective breath. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you so much for participating in this practice. I invite you to check out the description box below. I'll share all the links for Michelle Johnson, for Nicole Cordoza, and for Color of Change, which is a nonprofit that organizes campaigns for activism. And especially if you are a white yoga practitioner in America, I encourage you to find ways that you can do the work off the mat as well. Any of these resources are a great way. You can share this video, those resources with friends. Thank you for practicing.